Tensions are escalating in the Middle East as the United States carried out further strikes against Iran, after Iran responded to earlier strikes with attacks on 5 Gulf nations. Iran claimed it had once again closed the Strait of Hormuz, but U.S. President Donald Trump rejected the claim, insisting that traffic is flowing. An intense heat wave has swept much of South Korea, with daytime highs forecast to reach between 30 and 37 degrees Celsius in most parts of the country today. Although temporary relief is expected to arrive tomorrow as the seasonal rain front moves in, forecasters warn that temperatures will likely climb again once the rain passes. Leveraged and inverse ETFs linked to SK hynix shares are set to debut on the New York stock market this week. This comes after the Korean chipmaker's Nasdaq debut last week, when its American depository receipts surged around 13% from the initial offering price, making it the largest ever U.S. listing by a foreign company. South Korea is enduring its most intense heat wave of the summer, with temperatures climbing as high as 37 degrees Celsius in tropical nights affecting much of the country. Our Lee Seung-jae starts us off.
South Korea is sweltering under an intense heat wave, with scorching temperatures and tropical nights affecting much of the country on Monday. Daytime highs are forecast to reach between 30 and 37 degrees Celsius, while most regions are expected to see a heat index of around 33 degrees through Tuesday. Parts of Central Korea, Gyeongsangbuk-do Province, and Jeollabuk-do Province could feel as hot as 35 degrees. Seoul recorded its first tropical night of the year and its hottest temperature so far at 35 degrees Celsius, prompting authorities to expand tropical night advisories. The Korean Meteorological Administration says the extreme heat is being driven by 2 powerful high-pressure systems over the Korean peninsula, combined with warm, humid southerly winds.
Heatwave advisories remain in effect across most of the country as a strong upper-level high-pressure system and hot, humid southerly winds fuel the extreme heat, with severe warnings issued for Pohang and Gyeongsan in Gyeongsangbuk-do Province.
Temporary relief is expected to arrive from Tuesday as the seasonal rain front moves in, bringing monsoon showers nationwide and temporarily easing the extreme heat. However, forecasters warn temperatures are likely to climb again once the rain passes, meaning the summer heat is far from over. Many people have sought relief from the heat at Seoul's Han River swimming pools, where crowds packed the facilities to cool off and escape the lingering summer temperatures.
It feels like the heat disappears all at once. It's cool and nice. Playing at night feels romantic.
With much of the summer still ahead, many will continue to seek out any relief from the heat, both during the day and night. Lee Seung-jae, Arirang News.
The Korean government and ruling Democratic Party have pledged to make the second half of this year the starting point for a major economic leap. At a policy meeting on Monday, the two sides discussed a growth strategy centered on the 3 mega projects and key legislative reforms, including accelerating investment in chips and data centers. The DP floor leader said the party aims to deliver tangible improvements to people's livelihoods by prompting regional-led growth and pursuing structural reforms. The government also outlined plans to strengthen its response to economic risks by creating an integrated system to manage housing market stability and foreign exchange markets, while tackling long-term challenges such as widening inequality. The heavy losses in semiconductor shares triggered a sell-side sidecar on Korea's benchmark KOSPI this morning. The measure was imposed at around 10:30 a.m. after the KOSPI 200 futures dropped more than 5% from the end of trading on Friday. The benchmark index opened lower and hovered near the previous close before turning sharply lower. Steep declines in major chip stocks fueled the market sell-off. SK hynix was down more than 8% and Samsung Electronics more than 4% when the sidecar was activated. Following the U.S. listing of SK hynix American depository receipts last week, leveraged and inverse exchange-traded funds, or ETFs, tied to the underlying asset are set to debut on the New York stock market early this week. According to major U.S. ETF issuers, multiple ETFs linked to the SK hynix ADR are scheduled for launch on Monday and Tuesday. U.S. ETF issuers have already been managing single stock leveraged and inverse ETFs, tracking major tech heavyweights listed in New York, such as Nvidia, Tesla, and Alphabet. The SK hynix ADR made its debut on Wall Street on Friday, surging approximately 13% from its initial offering price to close at around $168.5. The United States and Iran have exchanged heavy attacks, sharply escalating tensions across the Gulf region. Despite the strikes, U.S. President Donald Trump has rejected Iran's claim that it had closed the Strait of Hormuz. Our Cho Young-in reports.
The U.S. continued strikes against Iran over the weekend, which U.S. Central Command said in a social media post on Sunday, were meant to degrade Iran's ability to attack civilian mariners and commercial ships freely transiting the Strait of Hormuz. CENTCOM said President Trump ordered the strikes to hold Iranian forces accountable. According to the latest reports, around 140 Iranian targets were hit, including missile and drone launch sites, in an effort to weaken Iran's ability to threaten civilian shipping in the strategic waterway. Iran's armed forces had launched waves of missiles and drones targeting U.S. military bases across the Persian Gulf, including bases in Jordan, Qatar, Kuwait, Bahrain, and Oman, in response to U.S. bombings against military facilities late last week. Iran's state-run Islamic Republic news agency reported that enemy projectiles had struck Qasem Island, a strategically important island in the Gulf that is home to a major Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps base. Later reports indicated that additional military facilities in Bandar Abbas, Kesh, and Hajabad had also been attacked. The sharp escalation in hostilities came as Iran's Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps announced that it had shut the Strait of Hormuz. However, President Trump immediately rejected the claim and said traffic is flowing. U.S. Central Command has also insisted that the strait remains open, adding that U.S. forces are positioned and prepared to ensure freedom of navigation in the vital waterway. Cho Young-in, Arirang News.
Meanwhile, in Venezuela, the death toll from the country's devastating twin earthquakes has now climbed to 4,490, according to updated figures released by the country's government. The official number of injured remains at 16,740, while 17,907 people have been left homeless. Officials reported that 856 buildings were damaged and 1,222 aftershocks have been recorded since the main quake struck on June 24th. The United Nations has estimated that around 50,000 people remain missing beneath the rubble as search and rescue operations continue. In sports, South Korea's Ryu Hae-ran has captured her second straight LPGA major title, winning the Amundi Evian Championship in France after a dramatic playoff victory on Sunday. The world number 7 defeated Canada's Brooke Henderson on the first playoff hole after the pair finished tied at a 19 under par 265. Ryu led by 5 shots during the final round before being forced into extra holes, where she sealed the win with a birdie. It marks her 5th LPGA Tour title overall and comes just 2 weeks after her breakthrough major victory at the KPMG Women's PGA Championship. She is now the first South Korean golfer since Park In-bi in 2013 to win back-to-back LPGA major championships. With Korea's low birth rate remaining a pressing social issue, one Buddhist temple is offering a unique way for singles in their 20s and 30s to find love. Our Hong Se-jung has a story.
With their hearts fluttering with anticipation, participants one by one slowly make their way into the temple. 10 men and 10 women have gathered here, each hoping to find the one.
워크홀리라고 많이 해주시는데 여기서는 사랑을 찾아서 러브홀릭으로 나가고 싶습니다. 감사합니다.
After briefly introducing themselves using their chosen nicknames, the participants showcase their talents to win over potential partners. They are then randomly paired up for a stroll through the temple grounds. By sheer coincidence, Some participants are matched with the same partner 3 times in a row.
As we keep talking, we gradually get to know each other better.
Surprisingly, this matchmaking program is taking place at the Naksansa Temple in Yangyang in Gangwon-do Province. Drawing more than 4,000 applicants, the program was first launched as part of a public awareness initiative to address Korea's low birth rate.
Naksansa Temple has long been regarded as a place where wishes come true and meaningful connections begin. We hope the time spent here will lead each participant to a special encounter and a lasting bond.
Following the rules of the temple's day, the participants change into Buddhist robes and share a traditional temple meal. They also take part in a date where one person is blindfolded while the other guides them through the temple grounds. Relying on each other every step of the way, they gradually get to know one another better and grow closer. Against the backdrop of the sea, a tea session builds a romantic atmosphere where conversations naturally deepen. The program continues the next day after a nighttime date with the participants of their choice. The poses may be challenging, but the pain seems easier to bear when they're with someone they have taken a liking to. After spending 2 days and 1 evening together, the moment of truth has arrived, resulting in 5 new couples.
Even as marriage becomes increasingly difficult in today's society, love still finds a way. 홍사전 아리랑 뉴스 양양. Young farmers in South Korea are using AI-generated data to grow tomatoes in a smarter and a more sustainable way. The system is helping cut costs and challenges old assumptions about what can be grown in Korea's warmer regions. Our Kim Sa-young explains more.
Kimjae, Jeollabuk-do province is known for its golden sunsets. It is also home to a tomato farm run by Kim Gi-hyun, a young farmer who moved to the countryside 5 years ago. But this is not a conventional greenhouse farm. Kim's farm is managed with the help of an AI program that uses sunlight and weather data to guide the growing process. The program is called GrowMind and was developed by Kim and a group of fellow young farmers. The system predicts farm conditions hour by hour, including the sun's angle and position, seasonal solar radiation, humidity, and cloud cover. The data is then used to adjust the greenhouse environment. The results have been significant. Heating costs have dropped by around 30%, while yields have increased by roughly 14 to 20%.
We believe that tomatoes could not be grown during the hottest months in the southern area, but with the help of AI, I was able to make it work.
Kim believes farming should be driven by data. Last year, his program was awarded at an AI competition hosted by the Rural Development Administration.
By quickly processing large amounts of data collected, AI can help optimize greenhouse management.
The Rural Development Administration says it plans to expand the technology to more crops in the years ahead. Kim Sa-young, Arirang News.
This is the world now. Republican U.S. Senator Lindsey Graham died Saturday night after suffering a ruptured aorta. He was 71. According to preliminary findings from the medical examiner's office, the rupture was linked to hardened arteries, with officials awaiting toxicology results to confirm an official cause of death. Just hours before his death, Senator Graham had returned from a trip to Ukraine where he met with President Vladimir Zelensky to discuss air defense needs. Ukrainian and Israeli leaders both expressed condolences, praising Graham's decades-long advocacy for their nations. President Trump called Graham a, quote, hard-working patriot and ordered flags lowered in his honor. Graham had once been a vocal critic of Trump before later becoming a loyal supporter. He spent much of his career shaping foreign policy from the Senate Judiciary Committee, where he oversaw more than 200 federal judicial confirmations. Typhoon Bobby made landfall in eastern China this weekend as the strongest storm to hit mainland China this year. The storm struck the coast of Zhejiang province on Saturday night before weakening to a tropical storm as it moved inland. Chinese authorities had evacuated more than 2.8 million people, and thousands of flights and train services were canceled. Despite widespread property damage, no deaths or injuries have been reported. Before hitting mainland China, the storm battered Taiwan, which reported 134 injuries and hundreds of canceled flights. Meteorologists warn the storm system retains enough strength to generate dangerous rainfall hundreds of kilometers inland as it moves toward China's northeastern provinces this week. A fire tore through a Bangkok pub early on Monday, killing at least 27 people in one of Thailand's deadliest nightlife disasters in recent years. Thailand's prime minister confirmed the death toll after visiting the scene. Survivors reported that there are no emergency exits near the rear bathroom area where many fled. Another 63 people remain hospitalized with injuries. Witnesses described a sudden blackout followed by thick smoke and a powerful explosion that ignited the venue's stage area. Authorities are investigating the cause as forensic teams work to identify the victims. In Spain, one of the country's deadliest wildfires has killed at least 12 people in the southeastern region of Almeria. The fire has scorched more than 60 square kilometers of forest and farmland since starting on Thursday amid Western Europe's third heat wave this summer. Most victims were foreign nationals who authorities say died after failing to reach safety in time, though family members of one victim dispute claims that adequate warnings were given. Spanish officials arrested 2 people for violating evacuation orders as crews evacuated nearly 1,500 residents from surrounding communities. Chu Ji-hyun, Arirang News.
Intense heat has been taking over across Korea as the monsoon briefly takes a break. Seoul experienced its second consecutive tropical night as overnight temperatures stayed above 25 degrees Celsius. And today feels like temperatures will climb to around 35 degrees Celsius here in the capital. In fact, most regions are under heat wave alerts and tropical night advisories, so please take care. Meanwhile, a few showers are possible this afternoon and evening in central Korea and Jeollabuk-do province, bringing 5 to 40 millimeters of rainfall. Then 5 to 20 millimeters of shower is expected in the southwestern regions as well as Jeju-do Island. And this afternoon, Seoul will be getting up to 33 degrees Celsius. Chuncheon and Daejeon will make it to 35 degrees. Gyeongju will be topping out at sizzling 37 degrees under strong UV rays. The monsoon rain will return nationwide tomorrow, and as the rain moves in, the intense heat will ease, so hang in there.
Now that's all we have for today's noon edition of Arirang News. Thank you for watching. We'll be back at 5 p.m. Korea time. Stay tuned.